For me, there's a simple rule in politics. Never ever be surprised by what happens in politics.
The face of truth is open. The eyes of truth are bright. The lips of truth are ever closed. The head of truth is upright. The breast of truth stands forward. The gaze of truth is straight. Truth has neither fear nor doubt. Truth has patience to wait. The words of truth are touching. The voice of truth is deep. The law of truth is simple. All you sow, you reap. The soul of truth is flaming. The heart of truth is warm. The mind of truth is clear and firm through rain and storm. Facts are only its shadow. Truth stands above all sin. Great be the battle of life. Truth in the end shall win. The image of truth is the cross. Wisdom's message is its rod. The sign of truth is Christ, and the soul of truth is God. Life of truth is eternal. Immortal is its past. Power of truth shall endure. Truth shall hold to the last.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe, our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living room. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crying in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
What is the special prosecutor up to? As a matter of fact, that is our NewsSpin question of the day. Also coming up in the broadcast, the leader of the parliamentary opposition still focuses on that matter involving one Peter James. Welcome to another week of the most monitored talk show in the world, and that is NewsSpin on Power 97.9 FM. The broadcast is also on the NewsSpin Facebook page as well as the NewsSpin YouTube channel. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. You'll be able to participate later in the broadcast by calling 452-2979, 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026, 716-2026. And Amanda is here. She'll be going through some of your comments in the chat room. Hope you had yourself a pleasant, safe, and enjoyable weekend, and you're all set for the challenges ahead. No doubt, once you have breath, the breath of life, rest assured that you will be tested along the way. There'll be a lot of experiences that are worthy, as well as some that will be disappointing. But you have to learn to meet those challenges head on. In a run-up to the last general election, it was corruption, corruption, corruption. Corruption is rife in St. Lucia, and its occurrence within the previous administration was widespread. That was the allegation that was being made by the then opposition St. Lucia Labour Party. Now, we know in St. Lucia, what really stands out is the fact that people will make all kind of allegations and accusations. I think I saw a movie once, somebody pronounced the word accusation as accusation. So many accusations, one of the Wayne brothers. And we heard accusation upon accusation upon accusation by the opposition SLP. because it felt that this would be one subject that would propel it to victory. And it was successful. It worked. Because unfortunately, in this part of the world, whenever allegations are made and accusations are made, people do not want to know whether you could give veracity to the claim that is emanating out of the mouths of those persons who are making those allegations. So the label that's been attached to particular individual or individuals, they stick. And before you know it, when we are in the watering holes, discussing issues with our friends and so on, we say that this individual or this guy or this lady is corrupt. On what basis? We don't want to know. Because we don't support this particular individual. We don't support their party. And therefore, when we hear negative things about those individuals and the party that they are part of, then with glee, we accept whatever claim that is being made against them. If it's our party, very defensive. Man, where you take that from? Prove it. Where's the document to prove it? Etc., etc. And so, people bought this hook, line, and sinker without any kind of evidence. Because it was being made about Guy Joseph in particular, and to a less extent, other members of the UWP. Again, without a shred of evidence. And so the then leader of the opposition made certain promises. We'll be going all out to enact particular legislations to fight corruption. And we will appoint a special prosecutor. So a number of SLP hacks immediately were of the impression you appoint a special prosecutor to investigate corruption, not allegations, as far as the SLP hacks were concerned then and now. It is true. If we say volemo, they do not need any kind of evidence. So for them, unearthing the evidence was automatic. It's something that they considered imminent. It will happen. It is not a case of it might happen, but in their mind, it will. So a year and 3 months, or 4 months, after the appointment of the special prosecutor, Mr. Robert Innocent, and he has not been able to provide any evidence of him stumbling upon acts of corruption that were committed by the previous administration, supporters of the SLP, they are very, very disappointed. They're not disappointed that they haven't heard anything of note, anything tangible from Mr. Innocent. They're disappointed that he has not unearthed the evidence, the information that would have led to the arrest of 1 or 2 ministers in the previous administration. So they're calling for his head. The man they're eating all the money. The man is getting paid. And up to now, no one has been arrested. But you would have heard from the Prime Minister on a couple of occasions, basically begging the Sanusian public, advising, pleading with them, if you have any evidence at your disposal, what you must do is take it to the special prosecutor and he will act upon it. But that's not what the impression you gave. That's not the impression you gave 5 years ago. Listen to the then leader of the opposition, Mr. Philip J. Pierre, addressing an SLP activity in 2020.
I am putting on notice all these politicians and their collaborators who have stolen monies of the people. When we get into government, we will immediately commission a forensic review of all questionable transactions that the UWP government undertook. And we will do everything within the law to recover these money. I am putting on notice all these politicians and their collaborators who have stolen monies of the people. When we get into government, we will immediately commission a forensic review of all questionable transactions that the UWP government undertook. And we will do everything within the law to recover these money.
Listen, I am putting all the government ministers and their collaborators who stole money. He's stating it as a fact. Who stole money. Not who might have stolen money, who might have been involved in acts of corruption, but who stole money. Where is the evidence? And so supporters of the SLP, buoyed by this, expected that a few government ministers of the previous administration would have not only been in handcuffs by now, but they would have been charged, found guilty, sentenced, ad bodily by now. Almost 4 years into the reign of the St. Lucia Labour Party, nada. So let's listen to my good friend this morning, Yadi, on his program Zafenu on NBC.
So by prosecutors are say take moi. C'est ici. Moi fil nous de pour finir avec ça. Oui. So by special prosecutors are and finir avec ça. Fire met ek vous mettre au mle. Vous m'en ek pour l'argent ça by Mali oui. Different community peace met même des cas gaspiller nous là si mais when ka vivre bon ek moun travail wed yo pa amay. So met SF special prosecutors are firemen, Pierre. Zoni boulaje met. Oui, faire position met redundant. Outan moi, SF special prosecutors are met jeska vin kwa. Le mote we met l'autre jour met te mek. Oui, tout bab bouglala, mais là. Tout majol li ka vin kwa. Nous li pouvez mettre au nez. Met pas faire sens. Qui mon nom là? Qui mon nom special prosecutor? Oui, on a commencé en campagne pour nous la mettre, fire mettre.
So the special prosecutor, of course, is Mr. Robert Innocent. Worked in the DPP office over several years, and he has been an attorney over several decades. Appointed in November of 2024 to embark upon, should I say, the arduous or easy task of finding a few people in St. Lucia corrupt, public officials corrupt, and to the dismay, to the dissatisfaction of some individuals, he has not delivered. What say you with regard to this? But I imagine that Mr. Robert Innocent, with all his experience and his training, legal background, etc., would tread cautiously. Because as much as St. Lucia can be considered as a country where everything goes, we know that there ought to be due process, and you just cannot charge somebody with a crime without evidence. And in an instance where those individuals would have the recourse to challenge the court, to challenge the prosecutor, special prosecutor, have their attorneys put up a defense. Because if you don't have the evidence, you'll just be embarrassing yourself. Mr. Robert Innocent obviously knows better. He knows he ought to know better. He cannot just embark upon a fishing expedition or some kind of witch hunt. We charge you with this. We charge you. You, all before the courts. And easily so, you would be sent to Bordelais. That's not how it works. Let's listen now to an allegation. Again, allegation. There's this character. I'm sure you wouldn't mind me describing him as this character, special individual. The irony is his nickname, his nom de plume is Simple. His real name is Simon Simple Phillips. You could describe him as the mayor of Gros Islet. Irrespective of which party that's in office, he is the mayor of Gros Islet. So the allegation is Marcella Johnson, prospective candidate for Gros Islet for the United Workers' Party, tried to win his support, bribe him to the tune of $9,000. Bribe one individual, $9,000. We read it on social media, on Facebook, and I'm only focusing on this matter because Marcella Johnson herself dealt with it last evening during a Sunday Live of the opposition UWP.
No amount of lies by the SLP will erase that. That garbage that you see on social media is exactly that. Just garbage. These stories are simply false and a distraction from the real issues that matter to you.
Tonight, we heard a young lady speak in the form of Marcella Johnson. And I want to say that I saw some of the slanderous allegations that were put out against her. Now, the fact is they use a person called Simple. And Simple did not get the name Simple for nothing, right? So I have to imagine that Marcella is a little bit more complicated than Simple. And so therefore, if she was looking to influence anybody, I'm not so sure she would have looked for a simple way to do it.
The leader of the opposition and political leader of the UWP, Mr. Alan Shaston. Let me hear from you right now at 452-2979, 452-2979. Your WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026, 716-2026. And of course, Amanda, you'll be going through some of the comments in the chat room. I don't know if it's too early to call upon you to see if we have a report. Good afternoon to you, ma'am.
Good afternoon, team. Good afternoon, NewsSpinners. Someone says when a man is so wrapped up in his own ego, he does not even realize how much of a little package he is. Another comment, I've said it before and I'll say it again. The special prosecutor's plan is to come out on the 11th hour and say how they have found evidence of corruption by the previous administration. And with that said, they think they will stray some voters and change their minds and will give SLP a campaign slogan to run on. Just like in the case of when Hillary Clinton was running against Donald Trump, and then the FBI came out saying how they had evidence against Hillary Clinton. This is the trick. Another comment, the lies they told in the last elections will haunt their behinds now. Someone says people stand behind the comfort of using the word alleged when they're knowingly stating lies and misinformation. For your information, you can still be held liable. Another comment reads, Team, you are so right. The SLP is disappointed in the SP. Someone says, Mr. Innocent is not so innocent. Another comment reads, yes, Team, I love how you bring out the archives.
We have a call. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You are on the air. Hello. Good afternoon. Hello. Okay, we've lost this call. 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. WhatsApp message reads, Tim, when I voted in 2021, I was not red or yellow. I voted based on a good campaign and the promises made by the SLP, but now I'm honestly regretting. We have a call via WhatsApp. Let's see if we could put this call on the air as we say hello. And good afternoon to you. You are on the air. Hello.
Good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon to you, caller.
Tim, that Labour Party government is a communist Labour Party government. And I will tell you why. Before the election, these guys, both man and woman that affiliate to this Evolution Labour Party, all of them that lie. You have a representative for Babono, Miss Virginia Albert Poyon. They're having a town hall meeting tonight, and they're talking about progress.
Is it tonight or tomorrow? Caller, is it tonight or tomorrow?
I think it's tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow. Yeah.
And Tim, it's not anything new they're going to tell the people. It's to bluff the people, to lie to the people. Because agriculture has been suffering in that part of the world. Babono, especially the Maki farmers, Tim. And you know what hurts me? The number of young farmers Maki has there right now, Tim, taking it so hard. Over the past week with heavy rain, Tim, to see that you put crops in there and they cannot grow because they're dying, they're getting too much water. The farmers need heating. And you're not ignoring the Minister for Agriculture, sending the extension officer there, Tim, to see what is happening. But every day, 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock, these young people making their way to the farm in Maki Estate. And to see for the past week, Tim, they can't produce anything because they don't have the help from the government. But the government could boast and talking about money going there, money going there. This year is the year for infrastructure. Look at the state of the road. We have a minister for infrastructure in the name of Stevenson King. The man is doing none of him. And yet still, Mr. Pierre have this guy there as infrastructure minister. Going to Grozile, Tim, you have people coming in every week from all parts of Europe and North America. And these people seeing the bad road we have. Stevenson King should know. These people are visiting our shores. This money is generating into the economy. Now I'm calling on the hotel owners, the big guys that making the millions, to send a clear message to the Minister for Infrastructure or to the Prime Minister and tell the government that when the people come in, the ride they're getting is not good. You have motorists mashing up their rims, all the suspension parts, the tires, everything. And then you're telling me we have to pay $200 or $300 for sticker? I believe him, even including you two, should never pay for that sticker. Because I am not seeing where that money is going into our infrastructure. And far and foremost, you pay another what again for your the 150 and the pump. These guys are taking advantage on us. After they're taking the 150, the road not fixing. The gas is at 1650. All over the world, the gas going on. But in St. Lucia, it's not. The only thing the Prime Minister could do, when they're interviewing him, he takes St. Lucians like jokers. He's smiling. All they're saying he don't know. Man, Tim, we're really going on. And I am telling Babono people, there is no progress. Not only in Babono, in the entire country. And for all the lies that minister in all the 17 constituencies, St. Lucia now to make up their mind. Do not give these guys a second chance because our healthcare is in chaos. We put these guys there, we will die before our time. Thank you very much, Tim.
Thank you so much for calling, sir. 452-2979. 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. Let's see if we have a WhatsApp message. Somebody says via WhatsApp, is it appropriate to say on your program that simple is a simpleton? Let's see another one via WhatsApp. Comment there. Simple Simon is the mayor of Grosile. I met Simple at CCSS Sports Meet last week, Thursday, 14th February, selling his popcorn at the Darren Sammy Cricket Ground. What happened? Okay. All right. See there if we have another WhatsApp message. And it reads, an off-topic comment related to Wasco and the supply to the north of the island, particularly the Kazaba area. Please note that it's been a week, almost 8 days since that area received water to the point that most people's tanks are now empty. Thank God for the weekend rains that gave us a chance to catch water to do the basics, and up until now, not a drop or a word from Wasco. A call via WhatsApp. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You're on the air. Hello. Good afternoon to you, caller.
Good afternoon to you and Amanda.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, caller.
Yeah. Yeah. First of all, like, in coming into the new elections, Philip JPS said he won't stop none of them projects, right? And guess what he did? He stopped all the projects, man. Like the Grosile Highway, he stopped the Hiranway Airport, he stopped the hospital. Because I remember driving to Grosile, man, and I was like, damn, yo, I could see St. Lucia moving like it's like whole New York, but then man, he said he wouldn't stop it, and he stopped it. Everything turns back to grass, so I remember he saying that he won't stop none of the project, which sounds good, and he stopped it. I could never trust nothing this man say again, man. You could see everything, he just smile like the man is a clown, right? Asking about the police and the crime, he's not a police. But guess what? I watched him on a speech in either the UN, but guess what? They're making recommendations. So why you can't make recommendations to the police force? You're not a police, you're not involved in, so you can't make recommendations. But hey, you are the UN, you have 10 recommendations. You know what I mean? That's so I guess that's a disrespect to us as a solution. Because if when we ask you a question, you're laughing, you're joking, you have no response, but you go to the UN, but you could produce recommendations to them and to tell them, you know, what steps. So you cannot tell your police department what steps to take. Yeah, man. But anyway, and simple. Everybody know Grosile Simple is a scam, man. So don't even worry about that. You know, all right, big up yourself.
Caller, where you calling from? Where you calling from?
Canada, man, up top. It's snowing out there, you know.
Okay.
Snowstorm, and today is a holiday in Canada.
I don't envy you. We have good weather in St. Lucia.
Boy, Tim, you don't know.
All right. Take care.
No matter what, man, I rather suffer in the snow than to be out there and facing all that stress, man.
Okay. Okay, caller. All the best to you. Thank you so much. The chat room. Amanda, what's happening?
Someone says here, the special prosecutor took a page from the book of the DPP and other appointed officials who provide updates only when the public demands it. Another comment, up to now, he can't bring one case forward. SMH, 1900 politics, sorry. Another comment reads, politicians will tell you anything during campaigning season to get your vote. Say what you PJP. Someone says here, PJP should be ashamed of himself and his ministers and supporters. Things are just getting worse with this prime minister because he keep lying and he cannot help himself. Someone says here, there is nothing for Mr. Innocent to bring forward, so now SLP hacks want him fired. All SLP lies are being exposed. SLP must go. Someone says, that's exactly how they bluff Lucians for votes with lies. Simple. Another comment reads, our simple, you are making things difficult for you. Another comment reads, special waste of taxpayers' money by PJP and his team. They just can't get anything right since they were elected. Another comment reads, scholar, relax yourself. It's still the year of infrastructure. Take your time. Another comment, someone says here, That's true. I live in Babono and Virginia has not done anything for the last 4 years. All she does is give the people step and give grocery vouchers to some residents to fool them. Virginia must go. I truly thought she had no interest in running again based on her performance. Now the comment reads, year of infrastructure finish. It's the year of accountability now. Shake my head. And that's it for now.
Thank you so much, Amanda, for that update. We have a WhatsApp message. It reads there, no one should be surprised at what the then opposition leader, Mr. Philip JPS, said about putting on notice all those who have stolen the people's money. Such is the state of politics in St. Lucia. Both parties have chosen to use bluff as a campaign tool. It takes your breath away to listen to these politicians lie between their teeth. They are comfortable with lies and mislead the people over and over again. The current Prime Minister knew exactly what he was doing by the things he stated as facts when there were no facts to support them. 452-2979, we have a call on the line. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You're on the air.
Bonjour, Tim. Comment vous êtes là?
Moi là, ma coulée, ça vous fait?
Moi là, ça m'a fait. Bah, faut dire ça, moi ça m'a fait.
Faut dire actuellement, qu'on a été la fouette?
La fouette, là, il y a tout, sous pas ni de l'autre tête pour béoir, là, Tim.
Ok. Qu'on a été encore?
Saltibis.
Ok, alright.
Moi là, moi juste pour moi faire autant de fois, moi parce qu'il y a une station n'a pas jouer bien.
Oh. So,
on dit que je t'y mets primaire.
Ok, au passage, je viens les phones, YouTube, Facebook, ou pas sur ça?
Mais sur Facebook, sur phone, quand il m'a parlé là.
Ok.
So qui moi pas ça.
Qui m'a bout de semaine été?
Ah, bout de semaine été passé bien.
Ah, ok.
Tu as fait fouiller, moi t'es une birthday, moi t'es aïri là.
Ah, ok.
Ouais, moi fait un bon petit birthday, moi passé bien avec tout petit chemin et moi remercier bon Dieu, merci pour moi la parler pour actuellement. Ça
très bien, très bon, oui. Très bon.
Moi pas dans pièce bagaille chose, mais c'est beaucoup qui calé bah la ka bien qui na l'autre ça pas bon. Je ni vous corriger quoi ouais pour qui ça qu'a fait pour 5 ans. Toute la son y en a l'autre travail l'autre défaut ça pas bon.
Tu m'as dit ou ka vote?
Si on vote côté del c'est de ramener moi voter les moi union ID card moi venir à vote saltibis.
OK, all right.
Si on vote moi ni tout le monde moi voter.
On est comme un voteur caillou.
On pas qu'à gêner moi intime.
OK.
On pas qu'à contrôler parce que c'est moun qui ka mettre à le casser ça pas bon. Mais on pas qu'à affecter moi après bon Dieu on une figue pour moi manger. Oui, so moi bien. Qui mon autre madame là?
Amanda,
comment vous êtes?
Hi, good afternoon. I'm alright. I should speak patois.
Of course, patois, of course.
Mais mon problème est...
Bonjour, moi bien.
Oui, moi t'en bien. Mon problème ti met glo à présent puisque Wasco pas faire ça il veut puis moi puisque là moi pas ni de l'eau, c'est l'argent apporté par ou quitter de l'eau si t'en qui l'a appliqué soleil. Bon, c'est comment moi veut moi ni pour tous les pour marcher là me lever là. Pour si maintenant il là, c'est comment on pour quitter de l'eau en si t'en là c'est pas mon problème puisque là mon apporté par eux.
Mais autant ça qu'a fait avec ces moun en off là, yo pas ni de l'eau hein.
Yo ça qu'a fait depuis yo pas non en là il renvoyer yo number office là. Pour tu pas pour office yo pas yo ti manager.
Yo need yo pousser une représentation encore où? Représentation
garçon, si moi maman après moi malade, moi suis diabétique, après moi malade, maman me rapporte mon dollar ou quoi moi ça ouais misère pour tirer de le massage là il fait massage pour de l'eau de côté, c'est ça moi faut tirer pour moi tirer de l'eau. So si tellement m'a dépassé tout seul mais les moins de jours mi vide. Côté moyen, mani bon pied. Ça bien marché, qu'on longtemps moi rencontre grand monde.
Oui.
So laisse ça moi ni pour toi paiement ni pour parler ba Wasco di Wasco qui ça calé puis là moi vle payer moi ni moi couiller office là et envoyer ma oui moi payer. Yo va ouais plus belle. Yo pas de pour nous en temps. Là couiller yo phone ka ring. So ma si c'est l'autre monde qui dit yo ça yo ka faire là moun ka doit faire les couiller office là pour tu pas répondre. Mais actuellement regarde pour et puis office ma bêtise yo Maman, nice something.
Mas eu vou falar, o coisa, o Obama é nice, yes.
Maman, nice, o fou. Bon, maman, l'autre monde parle qui vient parler about politics, moi pas parler about politics.
D'accord. Ok, Makoulid.
Oui.
Okay, bye-bye. Always a pleasure to hear from Makoulid. What's a message? Tell that the caller stop crying for the marquee farmers. The majority of them voted for the St. Lucia Labour Party. Let's see if we have another WhatsApp message. Somebody says there, Simple have good head. Larry Tret and Kaimaje need some road attention, even though some concrete patching can help. And let's see there if we have another WhatsApp message to go through. Somebody said there via WhatsApp, I have a 3-year-old vehicle that I've had to change suspension parts for on 2 separate occasions in the past year. That is because of the Millennium Highway that has been under repair for the past 4 years. When will this end? We have been given several dates for termination of the road works. Some more of your WhatsApp messages and your calls still to come on this, the most monitored talk show in the world. We have a notice coming from the St. Lucia Shooting Association, and the association presents its Independence Day tournament this coming Sunday, the 23rd of February, from 9 o'clock in the morning, and that is at the Baudelaire Shooting Range in Dennery. Registration, EC, $100. To register, call 717-6846. Once again, to register, contact 717-6846. Food and drinks will be on sale. Make this a family day. Come on, come all. And that is on Sunday, the 23rd of February from 9 a.m. at the Baudelaire Shooting Range in Dennery. So this event is the Independence Day tournament organized by the St. Lucia Shooting Association. Call 717-6846 to register.
It all started with a penny. For over 85 years, we have invested in our farmers, fishermen, people, and our country. When we were called to serve, we were here. We understand what is valuable to our people and our country. That is why we support all industries, including tourism. We are the bridge towards a brighter future and economic growth. When our people, government, and businesses called upon us, we were here. 85 years later, First National Bank St. Lucia Limited is here for you.
Lazarus's Funeral Home is here for you. Lazarus's Private Cemetery offers a peaceful resting place for your loved ones. With tranquil settings, visitation, and reflection, we believe in the compassionate care of all our departed loved ones. Lazarus's Private Cemetery, let us help you create a final resting place. Make it special. Make it Lazarus's Funeral Home, your friend in a time of need. Payment plans are available for tombs. Call us in Vidbuta at 452-7491 or in New Dock Road, VA4, 454-6555.
Lucilac is transforming how you move. With our new electric vehicle charging stations, getting a quick and reliable charge is easier than ever. From Rodney Bay to Dennery, Vieux-Fort and Soufriere, we've got you covered. Our cutting-edge network offers both fast and standard charging options. Convenient, efficient, and always ready when you are. Just download the Flash Charge app from Google Play or the Apple App Store, and with a few simple taps, you can set up an account and link it to a credit card. Find a station or scan the QR code to start charging in seconds. Lucilac is powering your journey and driving us toward a cleaner, greener future. Charge ahead with Lucilac's EV stations. Lucilac electric vehicle chargers, powering progress, energizing the future.
Taco Thursday Thursdays at Senior Snapper from Thursday 13th February 2025 and every Thursday.
St. Lucia, your Thursdays just got a whole lot better. After work, there's only one place to be. Taco Thursdays at Senor Snapper Seafood Grill and Margarita Bar.
In Cruzley Town, that is Marie Therese Street.
Live DJ, fresh tacos, and island vibes. What more do you need? Tacos for just $10 plus 2-for-1 margaritas and mojitos to keep the good times flowing.
Thursdays is Taco Thursdays at Senor Snapper.
For it and you got it. A quicker way to pay your bills online. It's fast, secure, and easy to use. No registration, no additional fees. Flow is now offering FastPay, an online service that allows you to settle your bills in less than 2 minutes. Need a receipt? FastPay will send it to your email immediately. Use FastPay now for convenience, safety, and efficiency at discoverflow.co/fastpay. Flow is keeping you connected.
Are you tired of going from doctor to doctor, spending time and money, yet still not getting the answers you need? Now, at La Clinique du Corps Diagnostic Center of Excellence, we bring you the latest in medical technology, our state-of-the-art radiation-free full-body MRI. With unmatched accuracy, we can detect illnesses early, giving you the answers you deserve and the treatment you need, saving lives and saving money. No doctor referral needed. Results in just 24 to 48 hours. Plus, a free consultation with a doctor to explain all your results in detail. Don't wait. Take advantage of this special offer and book your full body MRI at our Cocoville, Rodney Bay, or Castries locations. Call 451-6559 now. La Clinique du Corps. Your health is our priority.
Essie, don't tell me that tire flat again. I just changed that tire.
Wait, what? You just changed that tire?
Well, I bought a used one because you didn't give me enough money.
Oh, I see. Well, you know what? Chivi's Tire Shop only carry brand new quality tires at affordable prices with free installation.
Hey, it seems you're working at Chivi's Tire Shop. How you know all that?
Come on, Brenda. The tire shop down the road from our home in the American Drywall Building.
Oh, yes. I forgot. Well, you know what, Patrick? Let's go there right now. Take your wallet. Let's go.
Chivi's Tire Shop, located at the American Drywall Building, Vic Boutte. Call or WhatsApp 584-5986. Chivi's Tire Shop. Pay less, drive more.
This is the most monitored talk show in the world. It is called NewsSpin. Call right now at 452-2979. 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. 716-2026. And in a bit, Amanda will be going through some of the comments in the chat room. WhatsApp message. When the PM spoke about corruption, he meant it, but the harsh reality is when he got to know the findings and now it is more in his camp, the only way out is to go back to what helped them win the last election. And instead, the Minister of Sports answered the questions. He would invite all his friends to Sports Award to show off and use his speech to throw words back at the UWP. Now his hard work will come to nothing, Tim, because his head lies and now it filters to the other cabinet ministers. The person goes on to say, when will the PM address Richard Frederick, and also has the SLP candidate for Castries Central accepted in the party as a member? I await an answer from you, Tim. Well, I don't have an answer with regard to whether Richard Frederick has been granted membership within the St. Lucia Labour Party. Maybe Lisa can call this program this afternoon to shed some light on this if she has the information at her disposal. We take a call via the landline. Good afternoon. This is NewsSpin. You're on the air. Hello.
Good day to you, Timothy, Amanda, and the news spinners around the world and St. Lucia.
Good afternoon to you, sir.
Very good. Timothy, if I could remember, Peter Chico did make a claim against Ernest through the special prosecutor. Now, I'm not here to say what Chico said, but I know it was lengthy when he spoke. But I wish he would call back and explain to St. Lucia that that whole special prosecutor is just a play from politicians. So I only hope Peter Chico is listening. I know maybe making his way to the funeral of Skinny, but hopefully he can clear the air on that again and show St. Lucia that that whole thing was a political thing and it's going nowhere. Thank you, Tim.
All right, sir. Thank you so much. Another WhatsApp message. I think St. Lucians are too passive. We should have already been on strike for the road situation. That is ridiculous. 452-2979, 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. Over to you, Amanda, and let's see what's happening in the chat room.
A few comments from earlier. Someone says, Tim, do you remember back in the days when we had employees from the Ministry of Communication and works with roadworks, equipment, driving around, fixing potholes, damaged roads, etc.? We need to bring this back. I miss companies like B&D and Co. Williams. Another comment, 9,000 could certainly make life a lot simpler for most St. Lucians at this point. Someone says the voter turnout in 2021 was 51%. People have lost faith in both parties. We need a new party that is fundamentally different. Another comment reads, would a UWP or SLP government support the people voting on big policies? Someone says the performance of the government of the day has been dismissal. Another comment reads, note how they are on their both parties' song instead of criticizing the current government. Someone says, how is the year of accountability going? Asking for a friend. A few replies to this. Someone says, just like the year of infrastructure. Another comment, it's going good because they threw the special prosecutor under the bus. And let me see if there are any other comments. No, that's it for me, Tim.
All right, thank you so much, Amanda. We'll have some more updates during the course of our program. Once again, this is the most monitored talk show in the world, where we continue with your calls at 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. Over to this caller on the landline. Good afternoon to you. You are on the air.
Hi, good afternoon, Tim.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon to you, caller.
Good afternoon, Amanda.
Good afternoon, caller.
Yes, okay. Tim, some time ago, I made a contribution whereby I mentioned that our system of governance needs some serious, fundamental...
Caller, we can't hear you too clearly.
Okay, hold on a second. I'm using my device, so I'm trying to see. Okay.
Are you there?
Are you hearing me any better?
Yes, sir. It's a little better.
Okay, right. I was saying, a few weeks ago, I made a contribution whereby I said our system of governance needs fundamental change. And Rick called a few days after and said, well, he doesn't think that it needs change.
Mm-hmm.
But I would still have to say that it needs change, because right now it isn't working, Tim. Even if there are supposed, how would I say it, things in place for accountability, right now the accountability is not able to happen through those same systems. So my argument to this is that the politicians seem to be a law unto themselves. Nobody seems to be able to control them. The upper house is just a rubber stamp. You have the public service, who are supposed to be professional people, who are supposed to be in protected jobs, pandering to the same politicians. So we find that there really and truly isn't a separation of powers, because it seems the executive has all the power and everybody else is just pandering to them. So I would still want to say, Tim, that I find our system of governance doesn't provide for the lawmakers to be accountable to anybody, because we don't have us, and they are the ones responsible for putting the same systems in place. So it's like putting, foxes to guard, the chicken coop, and the chickens just keep getting eaten all the time, and you cannot ask anybody, because all the foxes are telling you, well, we don't know, chickens are missing, So I would still want to say, Tim, I find our current system as it is, it gives the politicians way too much power, and the people are powerless, although the people are supposed to have the power. And I agree with Rick, the power is in the people, but the people do not even know they have the power, much less to exercise that power, because the system doesn't lend its hand to that power being expressed. Another thing I would like to touch on, Tim, is that GPH deal, Tim. And like a famous supporter would say, we have to take a look behind the behind. Because that deal, up to now, nobody has been able to explain to me where St. Lucia is benefiting from a supposed $60 million investment, whereby the people are going to rip over $400 million over the next 30 to 40 years. Not to mention what I'm hearing again, Tim, this is hearsay. I don't know if you can corroborate that, Tim. I'm hearing that GPH has since privatized their pot, their company, whatever it is, it's privatized and it's on the world market, shares are being sold. I've heard again that even locals have already bought into that. So these are all allegations, these are things, it's very, very possible, but we don't have the concrete evidence at this time to substantiate it. So we really need to look into that. So if a company is able to come and lease our port and able to privatize it during that lease period, that is, I find that is fraud. I find that is you come and say you're going to help us, you're going to fix up our port, make it more modern, better, and then all the time you're there just ripping and ripping the country. So I don't know, we have never seen that memorandum or whatever, that agreement between GPH and the government of St. Lucia. Again, the people are in the dark. I don't know, Tim. We're in a lot of trouble in St. Lucia. And then lastly, the roads, Tim. I do not know what is going on for road repair in St. Lucia, Tim, but it is, I don't know, Tim. It is a far cry from even being on par. I mean, the guys just did some work on one of the major roadways in St. Lucia, the Cassius-Grosley Highway. In front of Tyrone, there were some potholes there, Tim. Some small potholes. You could have navigated around it, but I mean, it was troublesome. The guys have come in, they throw asphalt randomly around, and they have created more humps than they had potholes before. I mean, who is accountable for these things, Tim? This is taxpayers' money, The guys have fixed up the Cassius-Vieux-Fort Highway, Tim. The same thing. I mean, I am looking at the road. I am seeing all the stress marks in the road, which signifies to me, a layperson, that the foundation has given way. That's why the asphalt is cracking. Asphalt in itself cannot support any weight. It needs proper foundation, and the asphalt creates a nice carpet. Once the foundation is gone, the asphalt crumbles, and you're seeing it all along the Cassius-Vieux-Fort Highway. Crumbles. They come, they patch half of it, and they leave the other half. Tim. Anyway, Tim, bye.
Thank you so much for calling, sir. Deliberately did not interrupt because the caller sounds frustrated and as if he's basically given up. But we have to blame ourselves. We cannot blame the politicians. We cannot blame those people we elected to preside over our affairs. And they will do whatever they deem necessary if, for example, they know that there will not be any kind of resistance, any pushback. The St. Lucian public is just hell-bent on being political and partisan. So their party is in office, and they realize that there are certain deficiencies as far as how the government is managing their affairs. Don't expect them to complain. Don't expect them to sign a petition. Don't expect them to challenge, quote unquote, their government. That is their government that is in office. And they have come to the realization that they ought not to criticize their government, primarily because as far as they are concerned, to do so will put their government and their party at a disadvantage, and it might lose the upcoming general election. What they don't realize, that they ought not to make such sacrifices. It cannot be putting the party first. You have to put yourself first. You have to put your country first, because the politicians, as far as they are concerned, they're looking after their interest, their own interest. They are very selfish. And whether you're talking about this party or another party, that's what it is all about, self-preservation. So don't expect that things will change in a hurry, caller, if we as citizens do not ensure that whatever we elected the government to do, that they should do it. If, for example, the roads are poorly constructed or rehabilitated, let's turn to the ministry with responsibility for infrastructure. You have so-called trained personnel within that ministry. They are supposed to supervise those road constructions that are taking place around the island. And if it is subpar, then they have to intervene on behalf of the ministry and by extension road users and the people of this country. Taxpayers' finances are being utilized to undertake those projects. So we have to look inwards from time to time. We have to blame ourselves and cease making constant reference to the system. The system on its own is well-meaning, but it's the policing of the system. You have individuals who have the responsibility to ensure that you have the policing of the various checks and balances in our country. And if you do not hold politicians accountable, rest assured they will have their way. We have a call via WhatsApp. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You are on the air. I think that call is reconnecting, so we really basically do not have a call via WhatsApp. But continue to call at 452-2979. Once again, 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. Let's try again. Good afternoon to you. You are on the air. Hello.
Good afternoon, Tim.
Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon, Tim.
Yes, I'm okay. How about you?
I'm doing well.
Yes.
Hi, Tim. I want to address a content creator from Canada that recently visited St. Lucia. I believe his name is Christmasless.
Mm-hmm.
So I good and bad, right? So his argument is that he doesn't want to show the tourist area, but rather he want to go into the neighborhoods, with the gangs and whatnot. But what I feel that he's doing is more like he's exploiting these young people and doesn't have any positive message at the end of his content. It's okay that you want to show that part, but what message really? What did they learn? Because from what I saw is that they were still doing gang signs and they were kind of giving negative messages against each other, right? So he's going to go back and show this to the world. But what strong message did we learn? What did those gang members learn to how to come together and not be violent? Okay, so it's one thing that you want to go around the world and exploit black people, because bad enough, we already have a bad reputation, with, these other people when they have to, when we need jobs. And, if you're living overseas like me, it's one of the hardest things when you are black, to be integrated in certain areas. Okay, so going into these neighborhoods and exploiting black people and showing gang members, what message did they learn from each other? What strong content did you put out there and say after the fact, well, those people say they're going to come together and create a positive change in the neighborhood? That's my argument here. Okay, we don't just come into someone else's country and exploit the youth and don't have any positive message. Okay, thank you so much, Tim, for your opportunity here.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much for calling. We have another call via WhatsApp. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You are on the air. Hello. Okay, we've lost that call. 452 tonight. Let's see what's happening in the chat room. Amanda?
A few comments from earlier. Someone says, oh yes, we need referendums. Another comment, solutions just like to listen to propaganda and lies. I only hope they don't make the same mistake again. Another comment, if you are voting once every 5 years, you are powerless. We need to vote on every big decision. Someone says, agreed caller, the checks and the balance systems aren't balanced. Another comment, caller, it's not the system, it's the people within the system. All the PS needs to be fired. They are not neutral. Also, they should be on contracts.
We have a call via WhatsApp. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You're on the air.
Hi, Tim. Good afternoon. This is Dominic Fede.
Hi. Good afternoon, Mr. Fede.
Yes. Tim, your intro intrigued me quite a bit. I find it quite interesting when you raised the question about political parties being in opposition and flashing the warning sign of corruption and then getting into government and not doing anything about it. Tim, the biggest and most serious accusation of criminal behavior that has been made in recent times has got to be the statement made by the Housing Minister, Richard Frederick, who told us on national television that he has, he told us in detail how Rush's father, there were 3 attempts to assassinate him. And he went on to tell the nation, Tim, that Mr. Clark, who is the opposition candidate against him, that his mother had something to do with this crime.
No,
now,
let's be careful there. Let's quote him. He said that the mother was implicated
in the murder.
Right.
Implicated in the murder. In other words, Tim, what he's saying is that she's a suspect of the murder of her husband, which is a very, very, very serious allegation. Now, what's interesting about this is that unlike your intro, where it says that it would be opposition parties hurling those kinds of accusations, now we're seeing it from a sitting government minister that's in charge of, that has more influence and oversight over the judiciary. He's part of a cabinet that has insight over the police force. He's part of a cabinet that has insight over and that is ultimately responsible for law and order and safety and national security in the country. But yet, Tim, the Prime Minister has failed to encourage the minister to go to the police with the information or to go and make a complaint, for example, to the special prosecutor, of which we're discussing today. So for me, Tim, I want to use your platform to encourage both the minister and the Prime Minister to use their good offices to go to the special prosecutor and make a complaint and to reveal whatever information they have. But Tim, this raises a whole host of other questions, because you would agree with me that this murder that the minister referred to is one of the unsolved murder cases of the extrajudicial killings of 2010 to 2011 period. And Tim, you would recall that there are 13 of these killings. And the killing or a murder of Arthur Clark is just one of many. Now, if the minister is so informed about that killing, then it leaves a curious mind to wonder, what else does he know? And how many other killings does he know about? So, for example, does he know anything about the killing of Beige, for example, Reginald Jean? Now, I want to read something to you, Tim, that is related to the discussion you're having today. After the investigation on those extrajudicial killings were done, the country came up with the impacts report, commissioned by the then Prime Minister, Dr. Kenny Anthony. Following the report, the then Prime Minister, Dr. Kenny Anthony, addressed the nation. And I have the speech in front of me, Tim. And the date of the speech is Sunday, March 8th, 2015. And that was delivered at 8 p.m. by Dr. Anthony. And on page 15 of the 28-page report, he stated this. Revealingly, the report suggests that the crime problem in St. Lucia is facilitated by corrupt politicians, government officials, business persons, and police officers. End of quote. And so, Tim, it then asks the questions. Who are the ministers or the corrupt politicians that were in the Stephenson King-led cabinet of 2007 to 2011 that the report reference? That question is important, Tim, if we are going to get a handle on the crime situation which continues to grip our country. Now, I believe that this government is well placed to come up with those answers because, Tim, you have in its cabinet now, you have a former prime minister, Stephenson King, who would know intricately the details as it pertains to the extrajudicial killings and Operation Restore Confidence and so on. And then you also have Richard Frederick himself, who has given us such great details on at least one of the murders. Philip J. Pierre, the now Prime Minister, would have been the deputy to Dr. Anthony and should intricately know the details of this matter. And so, Tim, what we see here is a lack of activity, a lack of urgency from this government as it relates to solving a very crucial aspect of our law enforcement. Tim, it also concerns me that the police force is very dismantled by what this administration has done. When last have we had a police commissioner that has served constantly to give consistent leadership to the law enforcement efforts of the country? Now you put a commissioner for 1 year and then a commissioner comes in for 6 months. It's very disruptive. And that kind of disruption and dismantling of the main institution that is tasked with the responsibility to help solve the crime situation in the country is not going to do any of us any good. And so the Prime Minister saying that his father was the police is not enough. He is ultimately responsible as Prime Minister and Minister for National Security for the crime situation in the country and making sure that we get a handle on it. He's more responsible than anybody else within the government. Tim, I want to thank you very much.
All right, sir. Thank you so much for your contribution. This is the most monitored talk show in the world, and it is called NewsSpin. Still to come, we'll be hearing from the leader of the parliamentary opposition as he continues to focus on the matter pertaining to one Peter James.
There is only one option when they arrive. Our services will make the dead look alive. With Bouteille and Beaufort accessibility. Remember, we have the only private cemetery. No one can match our prices from coffins to corsage. Personalized service you get when Lazarus takes charge. Quality service, no package to make your wallet bleed. Lazarus is your true friend in your time of need.
NewsSpin is transforming how you move. With our new electric vehicle charging stations, getting a quick and reliable charge is easier than ever. From Rodney Bay to Dennery, Vieux-Fort and Soufriere, we've got you covered. Our cutting-edge network offers both fast and standard charging options. Convenient, efficient, and always ready when you are. Just download the Flash Charge app from Google Play or the Apple App Store, and with a few simple taps, you can set up an account and link it to a credit card. Find a station or scan the QR code to start charging in seconds. Lucilac is powering your journey and driving us toward a cleaner, greener future. Charge ahead with Lucilac's EV stations. Lucilac electric vehicle chargers, powering progress, energizing the future.
It all started with a penny. For over 85 years, we have invested in our farmers, fishermen, people, and our country. When we were called to serve, we were here. We understand what is valuable to our people and our country. That is why we support all industries, including tourism. We are the bridge towards a brighter future and economic growth. When our people, government, and businesses called upon us, we were here. 85 years later, First National Bank St. Lucia Limited is here for you.
Here's a fun fact. In just 29 seconds, you can say goodbye to paper bills forever. Seriously, in 29 seconds. That's less time than this ad. Head over to discoverflow.co or visit us in-store and update your contact information now. By October 1st, your bills will be digital, easy to access, secure, and hassle-free. So what are you waiting for? This ad still has 2 seconds left, and you could have already gone paperless.
St. Lucia, it's time to celebrate 46 years of independence with a big deal from KFC. Introducing the KFC Independence Big Box, packed with all your favorites for just $46. You get 5 delicious undipped wings with 1 sauce, 1 zinger or big crunch sandwich, 2 pieces of chicken, 2 regular fries, and 2 refreshing 16-ounce sodas. Perfect for sharing or keeping all to yourself, because independence is all about choice. But hurry, this big deal is only available from February 1st to February 28th. Get your Independence Big Box today, only at KFC. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Are you tired of going from doctor to doctor, spending time and money, yet still not getting the answers you need? Now, at La Clinique du Corps Diagnostic Center of Excellence, we bring you the latest in medical technology, our state-of-the-art radiation-free full-body MRI. With unmatched accuracy, we can detect illnesses early, giving you the answers you deserve and the treatment you need, saving lives and saving money. No doctor referral needed. Results in just 24 to 48 hours. Plus, a free consultation with a doctor to explain all your results in detail. Don't wait. Take advantage of this special offer and book your full body MRI at our Cocoville, Rodney Bay, or Castries locations. Call 451-6559 now. La Clinique du Corps. Your health is our priority.
So Jeremiah is the representative for Micoud North. He's a minister of government, so he is in cabinet. And he's also the minister of disabilities. So as his rep and as the minister of disabilities, he would have had the leverage, the position to have appealed to cabinet to help Peter James. Whether it's distress fund, they say that they have, so there's no excuse. They say they put it back in place. That's what it's there for. Okay? But Jeremiah had even more ammunition, because Jeremiah had gone through the experience. So how is it that Jeremiah could not have explained to his cabinet colleagues what trauma does to you? And after going to Martinique and being over there for a period of time, you think that Jeremiah would not have been able to express to his colleagues why we should help him? And I cannot even begin to think of the situation in which cabinet colleagues would have said no. So it leads me to believe that he never tried. He never tried. And that is what I was bringing up. But like you and all of us who think of it in that perspective, it's inexcusable. But in order to avoid having to deal with that issue, they went to the playbook of Labour Party and said, Alan Chasney said that the then leader of the opposition, and now Prime Minister, Philip Pierre, never called me to ask for assistance. And the then United Workers' Party government did nothing to help him. But you see, I want all of us to really understand the playbook of the Labour Party. Because what they wanted you to do was to become distracted. And guess what? For some people, it worked. So when I put out now the WhatsApp conversation between myself and Philip Pierre, which is 4 years after the fact. So nobody knew what was happening behind the scene. Nobody played any politics with Jeremiah. Gail was at the hospital, both in Vieux Fort and also at Tapio. Mary Isaac was working with our Minister of Foreign Affairs, who was working with the French Embassy, who was working with the consulate in Martinique, because we were in the middle of COVID. Somebody had to open up the airport. And when you read the WhatsApp messages, it talks about the deposit that we waived. And it asks a very simple question. Philip Pierre asked, what about resources? And my response was very quick. In these circumstances, we usually provide $10,000. But under certain circumstances, we can provide more. And then when you go down the thread of WhatsApp, what do you see? That he was insured. I never talked about we gave him money. All I said is that like everybody else, the government of the day helped Jeremiah. And then the next thing is Lisa, whatever, Joer, I apologize. I don't, and that was not intended to be anything disparaging. I honestly, I want to make sure I always try to get it right, and I probably need to practice it a lot more, or maybe not. Lisa comes on and starts talking about they went and looked in the books to see if there was $10,000 and couldn't find any evidence of the $10,000. And people are calling me now, asking me, Flabos, is it true? Right? About the $10,000. And I'm saying, you've missed the point. You've succeeded. The Labour Party has succeeded in getting you off what the issue is. And the issue is that the Labour Party has always said that they are the party that puts you first. They said that they're the people who care the most. And like many things that we're seeing in St. Lucia, the state of healthcare, the state of roads, the cost of living, what's going on with crime, the level of victimization that's taking place in this country, it is an untruth. And this example of Peter James should let all of us know, even if you are a supporter of the Labour Party, and there's a difference between being a supporter and being a comrade. Okay? Comrades are a special place. So let us now look at the example. When Jeremiah fell off of the bike, he went on to tell us that Philip Pierre, Ernest Hilaire, Sean Edwards, Alva Baptist, everybody was there for him. They followed him from Vieux Fort, because when he was in Vieux Fort, we were prepared to open up the airport in Vieux Fort to get the helicopter down there to take him. They said no. They're going to take him to Tapio first. They took him to Tapio, and it's 2 days later after that they decided they were going to send him. And everybody was by their side. Who was by Peter James's side? Who was by Peter James's side? Who was by his side? And that is the difference between being a supporter of the Labour Party and being a comrade. When Joachim Henry was ill, where was he rushed to? When Dr. Poyot fell ill, where was she rushed to? She's a comrade. He's a comrade.
The leader of the parliamentary opposition speaking during the Sunday Live of the UWP yesterday. Let's continue with your calls and your WhatsApp messages. Somebody sent me a WhatsApp message. Correction. The person says Arthur Clarke's murder was not part of the police-involved shootings investigated by Impacts. We continue with your calls once again at 452-2979, 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. Once again, 716-2026. And let's see if we have some comments. Okay, let's take a call instead. We have a call via WhatsApp. Good afternoon. NewsSpin, you're on the air.
So, Tim.
Hi, good afternoon to you, Rick.
I got a couple of questions to ask you before I go further. Tim, there was an American journalist who was, well, he's an icon now, he's dead. His name was H.L. Mencken. And he's not a journalist I normally would quote because he was a rabid racist as well. But even now, every now and again, even these guys say something that lasts over the years. And he was a journalist, like I said, author and so on, essayist. And he said, Tim, it was the job of journalists to stand in permanent opposition. He was referring to politicians and governments and so on. It was the job of the journalists to stand in a permanent opposition. What do you think of that?
It makes a lot of sense because you're there basically to serve as the eyes and the ears of the people who cannot always do it. And in most instances also reporters and journalists, what they do, they have access and they have to use that access for the betterment of the citizenry. And of course, that will result in a better country, a better nation, and you having good governance.
All right, I'll come back to that. And another very, very high on my list, a writer and a major legendary atheist, but don't let that get in the way. He wrote, the presumption of guilt. No, everything he writes, he says, is with the presumption of guilt for those in power. Whereas most people, the presumption of innocence until proven guilty. Mm-hmm. His line is, he presumed them guilty until they prove themselves innocent. Because politicians are not like us. Was that the song? Frederick, what's his name? The guy who had the Super Bowl recently.
Oh,
Hendricks,
Lamar.
He's not like us. They're not like us. He says he presumes the politicians to be guilty until they prove themselves innocent. Because the politicians are furnished with all the necessary things, the money, the massive staff, the PR person to every department of government. They have everything.
And they have information at their disposal, critical
and they
information.
Have information that they can withhold, etc. And in places like St. Lucia, they are a law unto themselves. Nobody can do anything about these guys, our politicians in government. Can do nothing about it, Tim. They control everything. They control the judiciary. Smoke that. Whether you like it or not, politicians in office control the judiciary, especially in places like this. Now, in America, the Supreme Court, blah, blah, I won't go into that. And even there, they have a lot of sway, right?
Yes.
But in places like St. Lucia, they control the judiciary. The judges, while they're in office, they're scared shitless of the politicians because it is the politicians who will decide how high they rise in their careers. The 5 prime ministers of the region, They have to come together with a consensus as to whether to hire that person or not, Tim. You know that?
As much as they like to make reference to the, various institutions that have been set up, like Judicial and Legal Services Commission.
What is it called again?
Judicial and Legal Services Commission to make appointments.
The Judicial and Legal Services Commission, Tim, just recommended a little while ago the appointment of as a judge of a guy called Ventros.
Yes, that's a solution.
That is now before the Grenada courts and has been there for a while. Meanwhile, that judge is on the bench, nothing. At the very least, that guy should not be on the bench until his case is heard and decided, no?
Yeah.
You remember we had a lawyer here called Ogilvy, and most of your probably not.
Leonard Ogilvy. Leonard Ogilvy.
Eh?
Leonard Ogilvy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And interestingly enough, although he was supposedly not qualified, this guy appeared in court against a QC.
And won cases.
Hilford de Turville.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yes, and he won.
And he won. And immediately afterwards, in a very controversial atmosphere, the government of the day threw him out of the country. Persona non grata. He can't even come back. Okay? There are other cases. There was a case again involving Hilford de Turville's daughter, who it turned out had all the qualifications to practice, but she wasn't sufficient. She had gone to the school, she got a degree and everything, but she had not carried out what she had to carry out to be able to actually practice whatever other step that was. But there she was practicing law. And you may remember there was a big hoo-ha on that, and I wrote reams on that. And the then minister, the AG, and Hilford de Turville were opposing each other in what they were saying about the circumstances. We have this kind of stuff going on over and over in St. Lucia, and life just goes on. Nobody pays, nobody's held accountable. And we tend to say, as I do, that it's the people responsible for that. And then I come to the other part. Do the people really understand what's being said to them? Do you think the people fully understand what the government considers accounting? Do you think they fully understand that?
I don't think the people even want to understand that because...
Oh, you make me worse.
No, they don't want to understand it because they see government as something that is mysterious, that they don't have a say unless it is time for a general election or a by-election. So they don't see it as their business. They do not see the necessity to keep watch over the affairs of the government. That's nothing to do with them. That's the opinion and the view that I think most people in St. Lucia share with regard to governance in our country.
Well, we're paying the price, Tim.
Yes, we are.
We are paying the price. Now, Dominic, I also wanted to, well, I suppose I covered that. Dominic a while ago talked about, did he talk about the guy's mother being accused of murder?
Yes.
Okay. You know how...
Well, not accused, we have to use the right word, implicated, right? He said, he was making reference to what the minister said, that the mom was implicated.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is the same government that rightly calls on the people of the country at their own risk to report crimes. The lady who was last shot, according to word on the street, because that's the only word you hear, you don't hear any other words, the police not come out and say that's not true, etc., was gunned down because, and that gunning, her being killed was linked to a court appearance involving her rape. We have not heard that confirmed by the authorities, have we?
Nor denied.
Not denied. Nothing. You're not worthy. You're not worth any information. So we are now free to speculate. And even when you speculate, which you have a right to do according to the law on matters of public interest, you will be threatened with libel suits. And you know you can barely afford to eat. So what do? The chilling effect grabs you by the throat and you say nothing at all. So one rape undiscussed goes on to another rape undiscussed. And before you know it, you have a tradition in the country of rape cases going undiscussed. Not even the goddamn people who pass as females in the house, not even the politicians who wear dresses, talk about rape, you know. Are you with that?
When it's
Think
convenient,
about that, Tim.
when it's convenient, they speak about it.
I have never heard
because
them
I remember Rick. There's this former health minister, Alvina Reynolds. When I first encountered her was sometime in the 1990s, I think, just before the 1997 general election. I suspected she intended to enter the political arena. And there was an elderly woman in Babonneau. I don't know if you remember. She was raped. And Alvina Reynolds, that's the first time she came on the scene. She became a national figure because I had an interview with her on RCI. And she was very passionate. You know, that this woman who is loved and respected in the community and so on, she's an elderly, a mother to so many people. She was raped.
Campaigning?
No, she wasn't campaigning then. That was just before the 97 election.
She was just a Babonneau
Just a
elite.
citizen, just a citizen.
All right, okay.
And now those same people, we don't hear from those same people when
Well,
things
but
of that
my
nature,
question
similar
to you,
things
Tim,
happen. Mhm.
My question to you had to do with government ministers and people in association with government and so on. That's what I was talking about. Because when they're out there, just out there, oh man, they sound so passionate. It's when they get into office that they lose their voice, they lose their balls, they lose whatever genitals made them able to talk. They lose it. And the people take it in the neck, whether they are blue, red, or yellow. So I'm wondering if people are really understanding, or if they are understanding perfectly, but they have such... Because I remember that, you know, when Susie Dovere was a judge, a 13-year-old girl was raped by a Syrian guy. And there she was with her auntie or whatever she was in the police station, making the report and everything, and they'd also arrested the guy. And I wrote a story later on where the auntie was telling me right there in the police station, the accused guy was offering her a bribe to drop the case. It didn't work, and it got a lot of publicity. But guess what? When the case came up for trial, the DPP was Susie Dovere, and the defense lawyer was Kenneth Foster. And you know, the trial was about to start when Kenneth Foster announced that the mother had pulled the case because it was civil for some reason, or either it was a police case and they had to give evidence and so on, and the mother and daughter were refusing to give any evidence. That's what it was. And Susie Dovere kicked hell. Afterward, I talked to the woman, and she says her daughter has already been raped. Whatever is going to be done to her, so to hell with it. Why go through this? And the guy is more than likely going to escape anyway. And she took $30,000. Openly admitted it to me. I wrote about it. She took the bribe. So that has been going on forever because people have so little faith in the justice system that they're likely to take a compensation of a few $100,000 or a few $1,000s for rape, for having seen murder and keep their mouth shut. Our policemen are open to that as well, Tim. Our policemen don't get any money, $2,000. Some of them have 3 kids and 5 jobs and everything to pay. You know, they like the rest of us. So what are they going to do with $2,000 when somebody's offering them $20,000 just to forget they saw something? We create the corruption. We create the murderers. We create all the worst afflictions in our society. because we will do nothing about the most important part. Demanding good governance, demanding accountability, or else. It is not enough for women even to talk anymore about their abuses. Women, regardless of who is in office, need now to stop traffic with their bodies, need now to challenge the law because the law is not working as it's supposed to. And they have to fight the situation, the bad situation, so that the good situation can become respectable, and respected thing. It is the lawmakers and lawbreakers who cause a lot of the crime. When people can see people, especially people getting away literally with murder, getting away with rape, getting away with what nobody else can get away with, when we see policemen not acting like we expect our police to act, when you see police officers a day after instructions are given them by an MP on television, moving and doing exactly what the MP wanted, we have lost it. The country is gone. There is no law in the country. All those people who think they're law-abiding, they're just quiet. Somebody was telling me, for example, when I brought that up, it's a pity the United Workers' Party is such a conservative party. Did you consider the United Workers' Party a conservative party then?
Not of late, sir.
Well, especially I like that. Because I told the person in response, the United Workers' Party is not a conservative party. The United Workers' Party is a chicken party, a cowardly party that talks and sometimes talks strong. The Labour Party, in opposition, dismantles everything until they get what they want. And they've always done that. It is the party of the struggle, the party of the Labour Party does not care if they are arrested. We saw that in last election. We saw leading members of the Labour Party kicking people around physically, moving on private property. What the hell? We've seen members of parliament saying to a speaker, do what the hell you want. I don't care. I'm not going to do it. We've seen that, lived with it, condoned it, and they don't realize if it's good for one, it's good for the other. But even there, you can't be fighting. Imagine being in a boxing ring, and one guy is permitted every flipping foul there is. But you can barely touch him without the referee stopping you. How long are you going to keep that up for him?
Not for too long, because that certainly is not fair.
The consequence is we are a totally frustrated nation, like you just heard in that man's voice a while ago, are totally frustrated. And you can well imagine there are a lot of people who are not talking, who are not the kind of people who are going to call any radio station, but they're even more frustrated. This is really a country of half a loaf is better than none. Shut up or you will not get half a loaf. And they are fighting one another for the half a loaf. They are not fighting against the people who are denying them a full loaf deliberately while they get fat themselves, a bunch of fat shepherds and emaciated sheep, because the shepherds are eating everything there is at the expense of the sheep. I don't know how much longer this can go on without an explosion of enemy in this country. It is going to happen because it is the nature of things, it's the nature of people, it's the nature of animals. You abuse them enough, they will explode. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Rick, for your contribution. That concludes our broadcast for today. Before that, let's say our NewsSpin news of the day. The NewsSpin news of the day reads, UK Prime Minister says his country is ready to put troops in Ukraine to support Russia peace deal. The UK's Prime Minister says his country is ready to put troops in Ukraine to support Russia peace deal. That's the broadcast. Thank you so much for watching and listening to another edition of the world's most monitored talk show. My name is Timothy Poleon. Goodbye.